Hello and welcome back once again, finally, to movie reviews. I know I said I was going to see a lot more stuff in November. Here it is, almost the end of December. I'm finally getting back to the theater. Had a lot of issues going on for a while, so it kind of put a damper on my movie scene for a little bit. But I'm finally back at it. I'm trying to play catch up now. There are a few of the movies that I wanted to see that are no longer in theaters. I was going to see Ouija at the end of October and start of November, but apparently that got pulled real quick from the theaters around here. Like right after Halloween, that was gone. I was going to see St. Vincent. Was going to see that at the start of November. Ended up coming down kind of sick for a couple weeks and didn't really get a chance to go out other than to go to work. And now that's been pulled from the theaters here once I was finally able to go see it. It is still playing at a theater way across town, but I'm not going to waste the gas to drive over there. What was another one I was going to see? I was going to see Nightcrawler, but that got pulled for a while, but now it's back, but it's only got 2 showings a day, and they both happen to be during the time that I'm at work. So maybe on my day off, I'll try and squeeze that one in, if it's still there on my day off. I think there was another one I was going to see that's been pulled, but I'm finally getting back into it. There's probably about 10 movies I'm going to try and see before the end of the year, because I got my big top movies that I've seen of this year and bottom movies that I've seen this year coming up. So I kind of want to have a wider scope, so I'm trying to get everything in this year. But tonight, or this morning I should say, I finally got around to seeing a movie that's been out for a while, but it only just hit the theaters here, and that's Birdman. Now, for those of you who go see Birdman thinking it's going to be a comic book movie, it's not. It's basically kind of a has-been actor kind of dealing with life after his career ends. So it starts out with him, he's rehearsing this stage play that he wrote, and the preview makes it look like the stage play is actually about Birdman as well, but it's not. It's basically he adapted a novel into a stage play, and he basically rewrote it, I guess, for the stage. He's directing it, in it, and starring in it. But the whole time that he's going through... So basically, what it does is the whole movie shows you kind of the backstage, everything of putting on a Broadway play. You follow random actors around, see all the stuff that like the director has to go through, the producers have to go through, all the different actors fighting with each other. It's basically just behind the scenes of a play production, but it's put into the structure of a movie. So it kind of has that Slacker feel where the camera is following one person then just shifts to following another, but it goes back to the other people, so it's not quite like Slacker, because in Slacker I think it didn't reconverge on everyone till the very end when they were at the party. But yeah, you just kind of randomly follow different people around and see what they're going through. So it develops a lot of the characters there. So you see him rehearsing for this play, and as he's in his dressing room, everyone's talking about, basically what happens in the start is one of the actors gets injured and can't go on. So they're trying to find someone to replace him, and he's throwing out all these names of people he would like to have in it. And all of them are currently doing superhero movies. Like one of the Avengers. Who else did he mention? A lot of other people that, from the superhero movies that are going on right now. And it kind of harkens back to he used to be a superhero actor. He played this character of Birdman. But it was like back in the 90s. So he's kind of dealing with that, but at the same time, Birdman is also this voice in his head that kind of tries to tell him, you're above this. Why are you doing this? You could go back to making movies easily. And at the same time, he's like telling himself, I wasn't happy when I was doing that. This is me expressing myself, showing people that I'm more than just Birdman. So he kind of has this inner monologue back and forth with himself. So basically, the actor they end up getting to replace the other actor is this character played by Edward Norton, who basically is just a big asshole. The character, not Edward Norton. Although I heard there was some issues with him a while back, and that's why he wasn't in the second Hulk film, or he was in the second Hulk film, but he wasn't in the Avengers representation of the Hulk. So I never really followed what all happened with that. I'll have to look into that. But basically, he plays this giant asshole. And then it kind of has this relationship with Birdman and his daughter. And it's kind of this whole thing about, he wasn't around when she was a kid, or he was, but it was just kind of, here's some money, type of thing. So she kind of has this resentment towards that, but so she's trying to do this whole, look at me, I'm drinking and doing drugs for attention type of thing. And she's gone through rehab, so she's kind of rehabilitating herself, and she's acting as his assistant. And they end up having this big blow up because basically she tells him he's a relic of the past. He's still this big actor, but he hasn't changed with the times. Like, he doesn't like bloggers. He's always bashing Twitter. He doesn't have a Facebook page. He's not keeping up with how to get your name out there now. And he said, he kind of throws back at her that, it's not relevant to just, throw anything at the wall and hope something goes viral. And that's kind of why he's against it. So they kind of have this back and forth about that he's not, allowing the change of time. Over the course of the movie, he basically is just breaking down more and more as an individual. Basically just kind of having a nervous breakdown / midlife crisis type of thing, I guess. So then by the end of the movie, everything kind of starts to resolve, and he just has this moment of clarity. So, he goes through all that, and then I don't want to spoil the ending because it was kind of obvious it was going to be there, but I wasn't sure how it was going to play out. So then there's this event that happens at the end that results in some other stuff happening, and that more or less just leads into the ending, and the ending was really confusing because at the end, his daughter comes into the room where he's supposed to be, and he's not there, and she kind of looks out the window and starts smiling. So it's kind of playing this thing of, throughout the movie, as he's doing these bits as Birdman, it kind of makes you think he's just hallucinating all of it. But then the way she looks out the window smiling, it makes you think maybe he actually has the abilities and wasn't hallucinating. So it's like this little odd play with your mind at the end. So yeah, spoilers, by the way. I know it's a little late, but I didn't give you too much of the ending, just kind of the odd bit. But other than that, it was a decent film. Like I said, if you're going into it thinking it's going to be a comic book movie, don't. If you can enjoy a movie about a guy having a mental breakdown and kind of a behind-the-scenes look at what it takes to put on a play on Broadway, then definitely check it out. As far as a star rating on this one, I think I'm going to give this one about a 3.5. I was going to say 3, but that would be just kind of middle of the road, and it did have some, well, to me it had some entertainment value just because I can appreciate some art films, and that's kind of what this was an artistic piece more than anything else. But yeah, so I give it a 3.5 just because it had something about it that kept me intrigued. Even though it kind of got boring at times, like, is this all the movie's going to be? And then it would kind of do something to keep you drawn into the story. Right when you would start to fall out, it kind of draws you back in. But overall, yeah, it's just kind of the way the movie starts is kind of the way the movie progresses through the whole thing. So it is sort of a slow-paced movie, but a lot of stuff happens in that pace. So yeah, I think I'm going to go with a 3.5 on this one. Like I said, if you're going into it thinking it's a comic book movie, don't. You probably won't enjoy it. If you can appreciate art films, it's not overly arty, but it has an art aspect to it. So if you appreciate those types of film, definitely check it out. If you just want to see Michael Keaton being Michael Keaton, check it out. But overall, yeah, that's it for this episode. Not sure what I'm going to get around to seeing, but I'm going to try to start coming in early and seeing movies before I have to go to work, because right now it's probably about 2:30, which means I have enough time to go home, shower, get dressed, come back, and go to work. So I'm going to try and do that for the next couple days. Unfortunately, the theaters don't open until almost noon, so when you got to be to work at 4, it's kind of pushing your boundaries to where you can only see one movie a day. But if I don't do it this way, then there's no way in hell I'm going to be able to see all the movies I want to see before the end of the month. But yeah, so that's it for this episode. Kind of long-winded, so as usual, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next episode of Movie Reviews.